Good day and welcome back to another Dbz Dokkan battle video. In this video we are going to be taking a look at the performance of the Strength Namek Goku in the Cell Max event. So obviously we want to take a look at just how good Goku does in the Cell Max event. Now obviously Goku recently got his EZA. So he is massively improved, and I think he's a pretty solid unit. So just to recap his EZA a little bit, he is a Super Saiyan or Planet Namek Saga lead of 170%. He causes immense damage to the enemy and raises the attack and defense of the allies by 30% for one turn. He has Ki +2 and attack and defense of 150%, with attack and defense of 30% with each attack received, up to a maximum of 59%. He will also transform when conditions are met. When you are below 77% health, Goku will transform into his Super Saiyan form. His Super Saiyan form has Ki +3 and attack and defense of 180%, with an additional defense of 59% when HP is 77% or less. He'll also have an additional attack of 59% for the rest of battle after receiving an attack. He has a medium chance of guarding all attacks, and his guard will be activated against all attacks and have a high chance of performing a critical hit for 4 turns when guard is activated. He also has a rage mode, which can be activated when HP is 50% or less, starting from the 5th turn from the start of battle. In terms of his rage mode, it's pretty useful. He obviously changes key spheres of AGL to strength type, and he also will create rainbow key spheres. So his rage mode is a pretty useful mechanic. It's not game breaking, but it's pretty solid to have something to fall back on so that you can just not take damage basically. And I think overall it's pretty solid, at least, you know, in terms of his overall performance. As a unit, I think this guy is pretty good. Obviously it's very dependent on whether his guard procs. If his guard does proc, you can have a pretty solid time. Generally speaking, he's not going to let you down. He can be very strong and very tanky. In terms of everything else, or in terms of, you know, basically like how good he is in this event, the one thing that I think is very impressive with him is the fact that obviously in specifically the Cell Max event, obviously there's the physical phase against, well, this second phase against physical Cell Max. Now if you can trigger the transformation so that it occurs during this second phase against physical Cell Max, physical Cell Max will trigger the guard activation on Goku, which means most times he will enter the Tech Cell Max phase with his guard active, which eliminates a little bit of his kind of irregularity of his guard mechanic, which obviously makes him a pretty good tanking unit. So yeah, from my side I think obviously that is something very good. And I think, yeah, Goku is a pretty solid unit. I do actually really like his whole kit. I like how everything comes together. I think for the most part it's very strong, and I think it's actually something that's pretty useful overall. I think Goku's transformation is good. I think his pre-phase, his base form, is decently reliable, but will obviously get shredded in the super hard events. But the thing is, with the 77% health threshold, you should be able to get him to transform pretty easily. Even on super strong defensive teams, it's not uncommon to take a little bit of chip damage, as you've seen here, and get to that 77% health threshold. So yeah, it does seem to work pretty well overall. And Goku looks pretty solid, pretty decent as a unit. He brings a lot of good defensive capabilities to the table, and generally speaking, he does a pretty solid job. I think if there's anything, he still can start a little bit slow, and I think greatly raising defense instead of raising defense would be something that's nice. I think that would have been possibly the only real difference, I would have said, for Goku. And just making his 59% defense activate upon hit as well, personally speaking. But yeah, I think Goku is very, very solid. And I think, you know, if you are using Goku, I think you're going to have a very, very strong unit. It's actually the rest of the team that could potentially let him down, because I actually think Goku is incredibly strong, especially if that guard procs. If that guard procs, he's really good. He's kind of like a mini equivalent of the tech unit, just a little bit more sporadic in design. But yeah, I think Goku is reliable. And yeah, I've tried him out in a couple of hard events, and he's done pretty well. I wouldn't say he carries or solos the events, but he's definitely 100% a usable option on the team. And I just find him to be really, really solid. When he's on point, he looks tremendous. When he's not on point, he can look a little bit lackluster. But I think for the most part, he looks really good. I actually really think he's great. I actually like him a lot. And I actually think they've done the unit a really good bit of justice. So here, obviously, in this situation, we're going to stick him in the first slot, just see how he goes. He's obviously stacked a little bit, but we haven't managed to stack huge in the event. So yeah, ideally we would have liked to get 1 or 2 more super attacks, but we didn't manage to get them. But I think Goku will be fine, as long as his guard procs. So immediate super attack, thanks Cellmax, really fun to see. And you know what, Goku survives it, so that's actually pretty solid. Goku surviving a Cellmax super attack is basically as good as it gets, realistically speaking. The ability to survive Cellmax super attacks is pretty unheard of for a unit, and if Goku had fired off just 1 more additional super attack, we would have taken single digits on the supers, which is pretty impressive. Obviously, we are going to see a turn where Goku's guard doesn't proc, so I want to obviously show you guys how he performs in a variety of situations. So yeah, you're going to see him here now. His guard is not going to proc, and you're going to see obviously that he will take a significant amount of damage. It's just something I think people need to see. It's not a knock on Goku. Cellmax events are not how you should measure a unit. It's an event that's best taken on with evasion. That's generally the best way to beat it. There's very few units in the game that can tank super attacks from Cellmax, and so you do want to take it on mainly with evasion. That's just generally the best process. We're going to see Goku here. Decent attack stats. Obviously we're not getting the attack bonus, which is a little bit of a shame. But yeah, 310,000. No guard, no fun. And yeah, but we'll see one more show from him. I think it's good to get a good variety of kind of events from him, and just, you know, to get a pretty solid showing from Goku. I think, at least for me, I find that it's always the best to get a good example of how a unit can do, and then yeah, basically just get a good kind of display from him. I think at least it's always a good way to measure a unit, and I think overall it's good to have these different showings of the unit. So this is Goku, 3rd time round against Cell. Again, no guard, no fun. And you can see that. So that's the medium chance to guard, kind of biting him in the ass. It's also because we only got him to transform in the tech phase. He didn't get to activate it against the physical phase. So when his guard is on, he looks great. When his guard is not on, he can look a little bit suspect. But that's going to be it from me, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, leave a like on it. And I will see you guys in the next one. Until then, bye.